Hello, everyone. Okay, here we are, Addison Cook and the Treasure of the Incas, and we are getting ready to start part 2, Chapter 7, the Inca Trail. Chapter 7, Welcome to Olvidados. Addison paced in front of the Bogota bus terminal, consulting his pocket copy of Fiddleton's Atlas. The clouded sky was as gray as porridge, the air as warm and wet as a dog's tongue. Addison loosened his tie against the stifling Colombian heat and addressed his team. Olvidados is just a hop, skip, and a jump away. We'll be there before Molly can say something snippy. That's exactly what you said when we left New York, said Molly snippily. 6 hours ago. Well, observed Addison, Rome wasn't built in 6 hours. Maybe, but I bet we could at least get to Rome in 6 hours. Addison decided to let Molly have this round. International travel was probably enough to make even the Dalai Lama get a bit snippish with his monks. Addison sat down on a bench next to a weather-beaten man who sipped a bottle of foul-smelling liquid from a brown paper bag. The leather-skinned man smiled a toothless grin and offered Addison the bottle. Thanks, said Addison, waving his hand, but Arnold Palmer's are as strong as I go. Eddie returned from the ticket counter, beaming with pleasure. 4 tickets to Olvidados. He fanned them with his hand and doled them out like a card dealer. What took so long? Asked Molly. Olvidados means forgotten, Eddie said. So? So, Eddie explained, I kept asking the cashier for tickets, and she'd say, where to? And I'd say, forgotten. And she'd say, where to? And I'd say, forgotten. It went on like that for a while. Well, said Addison, how long will it take our bus to get here? I forgot. Addison clasped his hands behind his back and resumed his pacing. Oh, another thing, Eddie continued, interrupting Addison mid-pace. I changed your uncle's cash into Colombian. He handed Addison his uncle's wallet. Instead of $200, you now have 400,000 pesos. Raj tried to let out a low whistle before remembering he couldn't whistle. Well, said Addison, admiring the cash, Colombia is starting to grow on me. You see, Molly, everything is falling neatly into place. Thunder exploded, and the clouds emptied their pockets. Torrents of rain hammered the streets. The team anxiously eyed the flashing lightning. Chin up, everyone, Addison shouted over the deafening deluge. I'm sure when we get to Olvidados, it will be a glittering tropical paradise. The perfect vacation adventure after a long week of school. 4 hours later, Addison stepped off the bus in Olvidados directly into a puddle of mud. Squabbling chickens and bleating goats exited the bus after him, followed by a very morose-looking Molly, Eddie, and Raj. Addison brushed a few chicken feathers off of his blazer and offered his brightest smile. Well, at least the rain has cleared. Molly, Eddie, and Raj had the look of people who'd been holding their breath for 4 hours. We've been holding our breath for 4 hours, said Molly. It reeked in there, Eddie agreed. I found the ride rather pleasant. Addison stretched his aching neck. I heard Colombia is dangerous, said Molly wryly. Addison scanned his surroundings. The alleyway seethed with beggars, pickpockets, soothsayers, and knife fighters. Gypsies in brightly colored turbans sold fortunes for copper coins. Fire eaters belched orange tongues of flame into the air. Looks like the Bronx, Addison shrugged. But what if we get kidnapped? We can't get kidnapped, Addison said confidently. Why not? Stick to me like a tick, Mo. What do kidnappers want? Ransom. And who do they get it from? From the parents, said Molly. But we don't have parents, said Addison, and our aunt and uncle are already kidnapped, so we're covered. Molly nodded her head, seeing his logic. Addison pulled out his compass, gathering his bearings. The clue said, by the Rio Olvidados lie the bones of the underworld that guard the key to silver and gold. So our first order of business is finding this Olvidado River. Addison led the group through the maze of Olvidados, following the map from his Fiddleton's Atlas. They wandered past a blind man with a snake coiled around his neck, who sang tunes in a tribal tongue and shook his tin cup for change. They edged past local women with gold hoops in their noses, who drank corn wine from gourds and gossiped in the ancient Quechuan language of the Incan Empire. Like streams feeding a river, the alleys opened to streets that led to a bustling market square. There, dark-skinned women sold tapioca cakes and voodoo dolls. Road peddlers sold strings of glass beads and hawked water snake skins with medicinal qualities. But then Addison saw something truly remarkable. A girl with long black hair and bracelets all the way up her wrists. She was older than Addison, maybe 15. In her hand, she held a switchblade, and in her eyes, she held mischief. Addison found his feet leading him directly to her. Addison Cook, he said, extending a hand. You probably don't understand English, but I had to introduce myself. I am new in town and could use someone to show me the sights. The girl ignored Addison's offered hand. With her switchblade, she snapped the bottle cap off of a soda and smacked it down on a cardboard box. She produced 3 conch shells and began shuffling them around on the cardboard. My name's Guadalupe, she said in perfect English. Follow the bottle cap. It's under one of the shells. Addison watched Guadalupe slide the shells back and forth with dizzying speed. If you think you know where the shell is, amigo, put your money on the table. Addison could not resist games of chance. His Uncle Jasper loved everything from horse racing to roulette, and Addison had inherited the vice. He placed a few pesos on the cardboard box and said, the bottle cap is hidden in your right hand, the one that you're holding behind your back. Uncle Jasper had also taught Addison about confidence games. Guadalupe frowned. I see you've played this game before. We're from New York, Molly explained, taking her place next to Addison, who gathered up his money. Guadalupe nodded. We don't get many tourists. The only famous things to see in Olvidados are the cathedral, the llama farm, and the giant pile of rubber tires. Your English is really good, said Molly. It should be, said Guadalupe. I'm from Cleveland. Molly processed this. She glanced around at the derelict shops in front and the seething, trash-strewn alleys. How did you end up here? It's complicated. Addison nodded, appreciative at Guadalupe, liking her more and more. Here was a person who had a few decent stories to tell. We're interested in looking for the bones of the underworld, Eddie said. Can you help us? Bones of the underworld? Asked Guadalupe. What kind of tourists are you? It's complicated, returned Molly. Bones of the underworld aren't my specialty, chica, but I can show you the sights, said Guadalupe, for a price. Why should we hire you? Asked Eddie. You just tried to cheat us. You said you're looking for the underworld. I know every basement, alley, and gutter in this town. Addison admired street smarts and pluck. He beamed at Guadalupe. I'm an astute judge of character, and I think you will make an excellent guide. Well, I'm an astute judge of money. Show me yours so I know that you're not wasting my time. Addison pulled out his uncle's wallet and opened it wide. Guadalupe eyed the contents and made a quick mental calculation. My price is 400,000 pesos. Addison considered himself a shrewd negotiator. 400,000 pesos seemed just a bit steep. Can I get a student discount? He asked. Sure, said Guadalupe. Even better. How about a 5-finger discount? What's a 5-finger discount? This. And with her 5 fingers, Guadalupe snatched the wallet from his hand. And before Addison could even blink with surprise, Guadalupe was already hightailing it across the crowded market. John Wilkes Booth, cried Addison. Who? asked Eddie. That's what Addison says instead of swear words, Molly explained, so that he doesn't get in trouble. Addison darted after Guadalupe. Within seconds, she vanished among the throngs of con artists, vagabonds, and thieves. Okay, that is the first half of Chapter 7. Chapter 7's too long for one video, so we will be reading the second half of Chapter 7 later. All right, you guys, take care. Bye.